Okay, now we're recording the class for everybody who can't make it. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's our first class back from starting the fall semester. I'm going to begin by sharing my screen and reading the first assignment on Google Classroom. Here we go. And the assignments we're beginning the semester with is the story of CDI. Do we have a volunteer to read the instructions?
Yes.
All right, Leonie, I'll highlight and you can read. Take it away.
Mm-hmm.
You can begin.
Okay. CDI, Center of Digital Inclusion, is an organization. It's an organization that began in Brazil to help more people get access to computer. And the same
and
the internet. Oh, the screen is shaking.
Oh, okay, I understand. Are you using your phone or your computer?
No, I use my tablet.
Oh, okay.
And the same.
If your screen's shaking, maybe you can pass it to another volunteer. It's okay.
I can read it.
Okay, Abebu, take it away.
Okay. The story of CDI. CDI. Why? CDI, Center for Digital Inclusion, is an organization that began in Brazil to help more people get access to computers and the internet and use technology to make positive changes in their community. Read the article and watch this short documentary and write a short summary answering the question in 60 to 80 words and attach it in a Google Doc.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. All right, now I see a lot of people who have just joined us. So I'm going to give it a moment. Welcome everybody who's just joined us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So I might have to mute a few people if they're blurry, but it's okay. Now,
good morning, teacher.
Good morning, everybody. All right, so for everybody who's just joined us, welcome. As you can see, we're going over the assignment for this week. Now the question, Abebu, I'll read the question and I'll ask Abebu to answer the question in a sentence or two. How do CDI students use technology to make their lives and their community better? I'll give everybody a minute to give me their own answer, just like a sentence. Abebu, what's something that the CDI students do with the technology to make their lives and community better?
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity because this organization it is help to many students. You know, people is to they needed to learn, but they didn't get access. It is hard to do the thing. Technology is better for everything. It's when you use the technology, it saves time and it saves time and use it. It's to do something shortly, and it's help to for every student and the CDI. It's help for the our community or people and then themselves too in our those countries too, because they I don't know how to explain, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abebu. Now everything Abebu said is absolutely correct, but I want to work with everybody to try to answer the question more specifically. What is something that the CDI students do, the students themselves? We saw in the short documentary and in the article. What's something specifically that they do? I'm going to go to Rosario. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you
teacher. Good
can you give
morning,
us
everybody.
your answer to this question? How does the CDI students use technology to make their lives and community better? What's something the students themselves do?
I can say, teacher.
Well, first Rosario, then I'll go to Belkis. Rosario, do you have an answer?
I don't have an answer yet.
Okay, no
but
problem. Belkis, tell us.
I
Belkis,
read the article. Okay.
no problem.
The student choose a problem and you in their community, and he told and he work with it, and they resolve some problem about their community with the technology.
Exactly. So that's perfect. Yes, they solve problems. That's a perfect, very simple answer to the question. So that they look at their community and they solve problems. I'm so glad you said solve problems.
Yeah.
Who could name a few of the problems in the community in the city is Rio, and this documentary is about 10 years ago, of course, so things are different there now. Everything changes. My virtual background is the backdrop of where CDI begins. So if you've been to Brazil, I put some favelas in my background. Who can give me some of the problems in the community that they try to solve with technology?
It's about drugs.
Good. You know what? I'm going to start writing. I'm going to use my technology. So I'm going to put here problems in the community. Colon there. Okay. So problem one is a big one. Drugs is a big problem. What's another problem? Anybody?
Trash on the legs.
Yes. Thank you, Yan Yan. Trash. Just trash all over the streets. What's another problem in their community?
Sexual problem.
Can you be more specific?
Violence sexual.
Oh,
Hey,
Leone,
how
that's a
are
good
you,
one.
teacher? Can be like homeless outside.
Violence. Good job, Pablo. I'm going to put the violence. It didn't address
I appreciate
specifically
it.
homelessness, but poverty is definitely a problem.
The poverty, that's the first thing is good.
Yeah, poverty. And for
Very
Pablo, I'm going to put poverty in parentheses, homelessness. Okay, this is good. Any more problems we can list?
Problem. Stall.
Education.
That's a good one, Leonie. Katya, I didn't hear you. Say it one more time, please.
Like this stall problem, like violence and
Okay,
drugs.
yep, already listed violence. Yeah, so there's a lot of gang violence. So there's a lot of problems. Yeah.
And whip. I don't know when the people whip someone.
Wait, somebody said
Woman.
education. Somebody said education, access to education.
And
So,
lack
yeah,
of
a lot of people
technology.
don't have. Yeah, access to education and technology.
And lack
Okay.
of technology, teacher.
Lack of technology. All right, lack of technology. All right, good job, Abebu. So we've got a good list here, and there's a lot of problems to solve, and the CDI students are using their resources, computers and the internet to go after these problems. So that's essentially what I was asking you to write about in your homework. So for those of you who received comments, most of the comments I was writing were to ask everyone to answer the question directly. So a lot of people were writing general, kind of writing around the question. For instance, some people were saying CDI is an organization that helps low-income communities around the world, which started in Brazil, and technology is great. Whereas the question is, what do the students themselves do to make the communities better? So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're answering the question and writing this short assignment. What do the students themselves do? So for our discussion, what I'm going to do is give you some specific examples from the documentary. And I've also got something that I didn't give you in Google Classroom. This is a speech from a researcher named Charles Leadbeater, who's written about CDI. And he talks about Wanderson. In Portuguese, his name would be spelled with the J. I'm just putting it in the English, Wanderson with the W. So forgive me, Rosario, for spelling his name the English way. So Wanderson.
Anderson.
Yeah. How did CDI change Wanderson's life? This is a question for just for our discussion today. I'm going to begin with a surprise. This is Charles Leadbeater. He talks about, he's a researcher about education, and he talks about CDI and highlights Wanderson. So here we go. There he is. Okay. First, can everybody hear? Okay, great. So here is Charles Leadbeater, and he talks about Wanderson and CDI in Brazil. Let me get some, okay, here we go.
This is where you'll find the fastest growing young populations of the world. So if you want recipes to work for virtually anything, health, education, government, politics, and education, you have to go to these places. And if you go to these places, you meet people like this. This is a guy called Wanderson. At the age of 14, in common with many 14-year-olds in the Brazilian education system, he dropped out of school. It was boring. And Wanderson instead went into what provided kind of opportunity and hope in the place that he lived, which was the drugs trade. And by the age of 16, with rapid promotion, he was running the drugs trade in 10 favelas. He was turning over $200,000 a week. He employed 200 people. He was going to be dead by the age of 25, and luckily he met this guy, who is Rodrigo Baggio, the owner of the first laptop to ever appear in Brazil. 1994, Rodrigo started something called CDI, which took...
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, there it is.
Donated by corporations, put them into community centers in favelas, and created places like this. What turned Wanderson around was technology for learning that made learning fun and accessible. Or you can go to places like to ever appear in Brazil. 1994, Rodrigo started something called CDI, which took computers donated by corporations, put them into community centers in favelas, and created places like this. What turned Wanderson around was technology for learning that made learning fun and accessible. Or you can go to...
So that's a little bit of Wanderson's story right there. Now, for those of you who have seen the entire documentary, this one gives a little bit more background about Rodrigo Baggio. Who can tell me what changed Wanderson? I'll go to the section of the documentary which talks specifically about Wanderson. That's in 3 minutes and 43 seconds in. So there he is.
Vida. E o tráfico ele te proporciona você ser uma pessoa mais superior e aí você começa a ter poder.
And of course, you have to be looking at the screen. For those of you who are just listening, this is Portuguese. The English subtitles are on the screen. Wanderson's talking about what changed his life.
Wanderson began to be CFO in the drug dealers gang in his community.
He got the girls, he got the money, he got the power, he got everything. And he got caught. And he was just in a very tough place, in a place where he had no hope. And when someone gave him a little hand and a little hope, he has totally embraced it.
O CD me proporcionou novos caminhos, novas oportunidades de vida. Eu descobri que eu poderia ser uma pessoa do bem, que eu poderia tomar rumos diferentes, poderia ter escolhas de vida.
His first contact with the CDI school was in the prison. Now, Wanderson, he is an educator in some of our CDI schools, and he is a new role model, not only in his community, but for his old drug dealers gang.
All right, so there's the story of Wanderson. Let's talk a bit.
CDI.
Yeah, well, yes, who could tell me how did CDI change Wanderson's life?
He find new ways for her life through the CDI. Now he is a good person. He can do everything for the community.
What is that? What does he mean by being a good person? Anybody?
Because
I think
because before now he was a drug dealer, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a criminal. Yeah.
Yes. Bad person, but now he is a good person because he changed her life through the CDI. He can help the community now.
But now, was he a low-level criminal, or was he really, really high and climbing in those worlds? Yeah, he was a big deal in his neighborhood. He was going to be the boss.
High level.
So I'm going to ask everyone this question. If he was he making more money as a drug dealer and a gang member, or more money as a teacher? Katia.
I think he's making more money as a drug dealer.
Yeah. So why would he give all that up? I'm playing devil's advocate. There's obvious reasons, but I want to hear from everyone else. Why would he give up all that cash and that, the cars, the guns, and all the excitement and danger?
For me, in my opinion, teacher, I think is that when you work as a drug dealer, you don't have a guaranteed life. So when you work as a teacher, you help other people, and you are a model. So somebody can follow, but as a drug dealer, you are nothing at the end.
Very interesting. Would anyone else like to share? Anyone else have ideas? Yes, Yan Yan.
Teacher, before he had everything, whatever he have, and after he got the crash, so he changed his life due to CDI, become a good person. Before he do drug deal, and so he had everything. What he have girl, have the house, have money, have everything, power, everything he have. But after later he cried, clutch.
Yeah. Oh, caught. The police caught. The police caught him. Yeah, he went to jail.
Yeah. So
But he was a very young man, so he wasn't going to stay in. He was a kid, really.
yes,
He wasn't going to
14
be.
years old.
Mhm.
Yeah. Due to a CDI, he became a good person.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I'm going to go to the next question. What does Baggio mean when he says people are digitally excluded? So the name CDI, it stands for Center for Digital Inclusion. And he says,
Yes.
people in my country are excluded. I'm going to go to his statement right there.
I think
Hold on a second. Let me play for everybody. There it is. So here's Baggio.
Accessible.
We are living a new age, the knowledge age, but we have 79% of people in our planet digitally excluded.
At CDI.
So, and of course, remember this documentary is 10 years old, so that
Yes.
it's not exactly the same. That's why you don't see people with smartphones. You see them with those old Nokia phones and things like that. But the story is quite similar. What does he mean? People on our planet are digitally excluded. Rosario, go for it.
I think it's because they don't know how to use a computer. Basically is this because they don't have the access to internet, computer. If you wanna know digitally, you need to have the access the information. It's just maybe it's just they have just a cell phone, but they don't have the smartphone. Where they have everything they can use for digitally.
Well, let's think more about what that means. If you don't have access to the internet, you don't have access to some kind of device connected to the internet. What is it that you're not participating in the world today?
Teacher, I can.
Can you repeat again?
Yes,
Teacher,
Abebu.
I think
Yes.
now it's without internet, without technology, it is hard to live. It's not easy to do something. So the people that time maybe people it is not that this organization provided some people because maybe they didn't to access all people. Some people it is excluded means not including that thing, not get access because that organization maybe it is to all people to distribute. They cannot to they cannot because not enough money, something not enough computer, people more than it's not equal, it is misequal. Demand and supply, it's mismatched, I think. That.
Mismatched. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. It's a mismatch. Very nice. Or anybody else would like to give an answer to this question?
Yes, teacher me.
Go for it, Belkis.
It means that a few people have access to the internet. More people must have access to the internet. A few people have access to the internet.
Well, I'm going to make the question a bit more personal. Raise your hand, or just you could put up an emoji. Has anyone here felt at some point in their life that they or someone they know, their family, their community, their friends, are digitally excluded? Have you ever felt digitally excluded in your lifetime?
Teacher, what mean digital excluded? Can you more specifically?
Well, that's the question I put up here on the slide. Who can answer Abebu's question? What is digitally excluded? That was the first question here on the slide.
The people can use the technology. It's not don't receive the training about how you use the device of technology. That's I think.
Well, included. If somebody is included, it's like there's a party going on.
Okay.
And not everybody is invited. Think about it that way. So the world is changing, but there's a big party happening, but a majority of the people are not allowed.
Okay.
So included, think about it like a, anybody ever gone to a club to go dancing? And it's like there's a long line to get outside, and there's somebody at the gate, and they say, "I'm sorry, you can't come in."
Teacher, I see CDI teach the young people how to use the computer. They get the information about the computer using and many devices and so internet. When they receive this information, this formation, this training, they are not included at this time.
Well, Leonie, have you felt like you, in your lifetime, that you have been digitally included or excluded?
If I fail,
included, this
So,
time.
Abebu, have you had access to computers and the internet your whole life?
In my whole life, it is not easy. In my country, it is not like Brazil. It's it's not equal access to get internet and technology. So when I came here, just I live with my family. I get to internet and access. Now I didn't get internet. It is it is hard to get internet, and it's not easy. If you have money, you can include it here. It is not restricted age or something like that. But if you don't have to do something, you didn't get easily.
Has anyone else felt at some point in their life they've been digitally excluded?
Teacher,
Yes, Vilma.
like for example, like sometimes when you have the opportunity to get the internet services, sometimes people doesn't have the work to pay for the services. And then, for example, once you have to cover like your basic needs first, like, rent, food, transportation. So in that way, sometimes it's like excluded in my point of view.
That's excellent. That's an excellent example. Yeah, if you have to make a decision between eating and paying your rent and paying, your Comcast bill, I think you're probably going to eat and pay your rent first. So yeah, that's a great example. Thank you, Vilma. So,
can I say something?
Yes, please, please, Katya. Yeah.
I think when people, okay, you said the question is personal, was it?
Yes, I'm asking, have you ever felt digitally excluded in your life?
Yeah, I was digitally excluded when I was like in Haiti in my when I was young. And
tell us about it.
Okay,
I think when you were young, you're not old. You are very young now. You're still a young woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
No one here is old. Everyone here is still young.
I think it was like 22 years old before. I didn't have access to the internet, but to use technology and to know the information, to load that to a computer, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can't do. It's hard to apply for jobs. It's hard to
yeah, to do
schoolwork.
research,
It's hard
to load Google, something, everything good today. You can use to load Google, to load WhatsApp, everything to technology. But I didn't have access with that before, and do search information, do homework, something like that in the communication too.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we might save this question for the breakout rooms. Next question I've got here. Wow. All right. I'm going to move to the next question now. How did CDI students inspire their local government to pick up garbage? So I'm going to go to, that's 2 minutes and 26 seconds into the documentary. Here we go.
Each of the individual lives, but also on making groups of students work together to change something in their community. And they will choose what is the challenge they want to work on.
Nós descobrimos que o problema dos ratos era por causa do lixo e do saneamento básico através de pesquisas na internet. Partindo pelo conceito, né, de que uma imagem fala mais que 1000 palavras, né? A gente começou a perceber que seria uma boa ideia usar o vídeo. E fomos na prefeitura, apresentamos o vídeo e tal. Aí depois que o vídeo foi apresentado, aí nós vimos o resultado. Não tem mais lixo e nem rato, a gente não encontra mais na comunidade.
That's the power of 10 students working together, 10 adolescents. And 10 of them, plus 10 of them, plus 10 of them, that can change a community, that can change a city, that can change a whole country.
You can tell how old it is, how old this documentary is, because he's still holding one of these video cameras. So this is 10 years ago, but it's still quite inspiring. All right, so who can answer this question? How did the CDI students inspire their local government to pick up garbage? Good morning, Francisco. All right, who wants to take this question? Let's go with somebody we haven't heard from in a while. Dorothy, how did they inspire? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, Dorothy, you're working right now. Let's see, who have we not heard from? Yan Yan.
Can I answer?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Who wanted to answer? Is that Katya?
Yes, I want to to say something, but I don't know.
Go for it.
To know the question, I don't know. Like the thing I understand on the question. Like I think this group of students, young students, inspire local government to know their work. They teach students, they teach people, and teach people in the community a computer skill, how to use computer, and they use the thing to quit I don't know. Okay, for change, so that they quit. They change pick up garbage. They learn people how to
I think I'm going to make it easier for you. It's okay. I'm going to make it. I think you're answering it the hard way. No. Good try. Good try. I'm going to give you the words you need, because what you want to do is use the words in the question to answer the question. What they did was they inspired the local government to pick up garbage. What does that mean if you live in a neighborhood and the government is not picking up the garbage around you?
Me, teacher?
Yes,
That's
Belkis.
neglect.
It is neglect, yes.
It's when the younger or the student work together and take care of their community.
Well, we're still not being specific and we're still not answering the question. You're absolutely correct, but what did they specifically do? Why did all of a sudden, they did something and all of a sudden, after this thing the students created, all of a sudden there are these big trucks and people are picking up garbage and the neighborhood is suddenly sparkly clean. How did that happen? What did they do?
Because of the
They make a
pictures.
video.
Because a picture speaks
Yes.
louder than words.
Video,
There we go.
send it
So-
to the city hall. They
There we
present
go.
this video in the city hall, and after this, they saw the result.
Exactly. So they made a video, they presented it at City Hall, and suddenly garbage trucks are coming and the neighborhood is getting cleaner.
Proof.
So that's answering questions. They made a video showing how filthy the neighborhood was, how unsafe it was, and this was an embarrassment to the local government. So that's essentially the strongest example of how CDI students inspired made a change in their community. And I'm going to go back to this. That's my question for the assignment. How do CDI students use technology to make their lives and their community better? So that's the easiest way to answer the question for the assignment. I do have one more question for everybody. It's a really touching story. This gentleman, Ronaldo Monterio, who can tell me without me going to the video, what was his situation before he joined CDI? He's an adult, he's not a kid.
He was a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm. And how did CDI find him? Where was he?
He work with the prison.
Well, that's what he became, but where was he when CDI found him? Francisco?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, you want to answer this one?
How did CDI have Ronaldo Monterio?
I'll go to the section of the documentary now. Here it is.
But for
So
sure.
Here comes Ronaldo Monterio.
Gimme.
You can say in general, CDI works with people that are in very difficult conditions. But for sure, our work inside prisons is when you're getting to the people that are in the very, very black hole.
Eu tive necessidade de dinheiro, de respeito, de status. Me voltei para o tráfico, para os assaltos, para o sequestro, e foi o crime que levou-me para a prisão. Viver e morrer era uma questão de tempo.
I met Ronaldo the first time in his prison. He was during 14 years in the prison.
Veio o CDI para o sistema prisional. E ali nós começamos a aprender a lidar com o equipamento. Foi o acesso.
And he changed completely his behavior. Through good behavior, he left the prison and he started a CDI school in his community.
So that's Ronaldo Monterio. It's quite powerful there. So where was he when they found him?
They found him in the black home.
In a black hole?
He was in
Black
prison.
hole.
He was in prison. That's a
prison.
metaphor. He was in a prison.
Yeah.
He was doing 14
Mhm.
years, yeah.
Okay.
So what does everybody think about this? Giving prisoners computer training. And then in his case, he got out to become a teacher. What's everyone's opinion about this?
in my opinion, everybody deserves a second chance. Sometimes we just not ready to do the right thing at the beginning, maybe because we don't know, and we are like, like sometimes we don't have like the values, the moral values.
Thank you, Vilma. Anybody else?
I think,
Um,
hello. I think people is to try to do something to come in, and we need to be strong, and we need to do something to figure out, and we have to be consistent to do something and try figure out, and and so on.
Thank you, Bepu.
teacher.
Yes, Francisco, I've been waiting. I think I could hear your idea coming. I want to hear it.
I think it will be a reward for the who are reforming.
How so?
Also, you say, teacher?
No, how you said it will be a reward for, and I didn't quite understand the last part you said.
Ronaldo Montero learned to the people in prison.
Taught the people in prison.
Yeah. Learned to the internet.
Oh, yes, he learned the internet in prison. Yes, he learned computers in prison.
So,
and then he got out.
Yeah, so we will be reward for them who are reforming.
Reforming, that's a good word. Does everybody know the word reform? Francisco used this word. I'm going to write it on the top of the screen.
Reforming is
reform.
It's like,
is that change?
It's like, yeah, the opportunity in the society. Yes.
That's exactly what it is. It's a part of prison reform.
Yeah,
now, this is pretty serious, though. I mean, this guy was kidnapping people. He was a dangerous person to be around. Does everybody think it's a good idea to just, and he's doing 14 years for kidnapping and drug trafficking. How many of you would like to take one of his classes?
I know.
Second chance, teacher. Second chance.
There we go. That's a second chance. I mean,
There's a second chance for him.
So, where are you from? Well, I did 14 years for kidnapping. Oh, nice to meet you. You know, it's real. It's reality.
I think he can say, like in the video, there is no age. There is no age to change. When the person want to change, he's behavior. You can change.
Evolve. Oh, I like that. Katya said evolve. Yes.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, yes.
I know of the people who release her for good behavior.
Good behavior, yes.
No. I don't care for the 4 year or the long time in the prison.
Now, I'm going to write a question on the top of this right here. How do CDI students use technology to make their lives and their community better? And I'm going to write this question. How could El Centro students use technology to make their lives and community better. So you, just like CDI, you have all been given access to technology. Everyone has been given a free computer with a hotspot. Do you feel that you are using these resources and these skills to make your lives and your communities better? If you are, or you can always do more. So for breakout rooms, that's the question. How could El Centro students use technology to make their lives and communities better? For instance, showing other people you know how to use the internet, teaching your mother, your father how to get a bank account online, that counts. Teaching your kids how to Google their homework. And it could be something as powerful as making a video of your neighborhood and showing it to the local government. This is what's going on. Anything like that. So that's the question for breakout rooms. Everybody understand the question? How could El Centro students use technology to make their lives and community better? Everybody understand?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make 2 breakout rooms right now. Okay, breakout rooms now. Okay, you can join.